Talk and Rock Radio, where friends meet at the intersection of life, inspiration, and music. Here's your host, Rick Kern.
Hi everyone, in this episode of Talk and Rock Radio, we are going to turn back the pages a few years to August 26, 2017, to the El Paso History Radio show when Jackson Polk and Melissa Sargent asked myself and El Paso's iconic comedy group Springfire to do a show. They are no longer performing, but it's great that we can do podcast shows and revisit the memories of yesterwhen. So enjoy the rebroadcast of Springfire from 5 years ago.
News Radio 690 KTSM presents the El Paso History Show with documentary filmmaker Jackson Polk and historian Melissa Sargent, streaming live at KTSMradio.com. Brought to you by EPHistory.com, the website for archived podcasts of this radio show and DVDs about El Paso history and heritage. EPHistory.com. Pepe's New Mexican Restaurant and Cantina, making the old Griggs recipes in a new location at 6761 Donovan Drive. Sargent Home and Business Inventory Services, providing affordable photographic and digital inventories of your home, office, or collectibles. Call 915-581-7099. And by Monterey Asset Management for your real estate investments. Now, El Paso History with Melissa Sargent and Jackson Polk.
And good morning, Melissa Sargent, and welcome to the El Paso History Radio Show, everybody. How's it going?
It's going fine. I heard we had our own little hurricane over here on UTEP.
Oh, my goodness.
The hills over here,
2 inches of rain on UTEP last night in about an hour.
Yeah, there were little waterfalls going on off of UTEP mountains there.
So we have our own moment of weather here, but not like the other people. So we're going to move on and do a radio show. As always, we're live on 690 KTSM. And where else can they find us?
They can listen to us on KTSMradio.com, 690 local, or get us at iHeartRadio.com, where you can get us at KTSM 690 and listen to us anywhere on the planet or maybe Mars in the future.
It'll happen. And so right now we got to tell people, as always, that Texas history does begin in El Paso, and we can prove it. Today we got some unusual history to talk about. But first, tell me about the trivia. You got trivia?
Oh, we've got lots of trivia coming up. We're going to have talking about later on for the 2 hours. We've got wonderful prizes. For either hour, we've got a $20 gift certificate for Pepe's New Mexican food up there in Canutillo, the wonderful Mexican food. We always try to get up there at least a couple of times a month. And we also have El Paso Gold DVDs, which we only have a few today.
Oh, there's a bunch more.
Oh, there's a bunch more. Oh, but I'm going to read good. Ghost Stories of El Paso, Volume 2. Tom Lee's El Paso. Tom Lee's El Paso. Gunfights the Old West, which is the best because it has 6 guns of shady ladies and me. Oh, stop it. Okay. Oh, and I can't even read them, but we've talked about these every week. And we've got Smelter. We've got McGoffin Home. We've got Smelter. We're repeating, the Women's Club of El Paso. They're all really good videos. So you've got a chance to win all these.
And also, we're going to tell you later on in the program about how you can watch some of these on KRWG television.
That's right.
And tomorrow night, they're running another one at 10:30. We'll tell you more about that. Okay. Are we ready in the control room? Ladies and gentlemen, and now we experience Springfire.
Oh, the Rio's a lot like the Jordan, muddy, but it ain't too wide. I guess it's a kind of salvation when you make it to the other side. And the money changers there in the temple think the dollar makes the world go round. Jesus would have loved El Paso, it's a lot like his hometown. Jesus would have loved El Paso, he'd have figured it's a lot like home. With its high places and its open spaces, he could talk to his Father alone. And it's got its share of Pharisees and people that'll shout you down. Jesus would have loved El Paso, it's a lot like his hometown. I could stumble around like the best of men, praying, show me the way to Jerusalem. Good Lord knows when he calls again, he'll find me. Jesus would have loved El Paso, why there's sinners there on every side.
That's one of my favorite songs by the group Springfire. And we're here to talk about a discussion of this group. They've been around for over 40 years, I believe. And I am a big fan. My husband and I are big fans of Springfire. And we thought that this is kind of a unique group that have brought both comedy and music to El Paso. And they're an icon, as far as I'm concerned, for El Paso comedy and music in El Paso. So we'd love to have them here. Well, we have them here to talk about the history and what their history was here. They left town, they came back and settled here. So Rick Kern is here with us today to talk a little bit more about it, and we'll be bringing the group on to talk a little bit more. So good morning, Rick. Why don't you talk a little bit more?
Well, good morning, Melissa. Thank you for being here. It's always fun to be here with you guys. We've done this a few times in the last several years. I want to first introduce the guys. Sitting right here to my left, we have the incomparable Denis Rochford.
Well,
and he played bass and sang with the group. Sitting next to him, to his left, we have the fantabulous Jaime Medford. He played keyboards and sang. And 1,200 miles away, we have, in San Francisco, via telephone, we have El Paso's Jesus Christ superstar, Jim Stevens, in the house. Guys, thank you for being here with us today. El Paso is going to get a nice show today, all about Springfire.
well, I got to tell you, I'm already a little pissed. Jaime told me this was the Howard Stern show, and that's why I'm topless. I'm a little embarrassed.
Put your picture clothes back on, Dennis.
I thought, why am I the only topless person in the room?
That's pretty scary.
But you look really good, man.
Thank you. I try to keep
Thank you for
it going.
inviting us, you guys. It's a pleasure being here this morning.
And did you know, I think we also have Jim Stevens by phone. Good morning, Jim.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I can hear that Dennis and Jaime are in rare form.
Hi, Jim. How are you?
We'll send photos later.
Well, they do have their socks on. Just want to let you know that.
There you go.
Thank God.
Hold the photos. No thanks.
Well, Jim, let's start with you. We got you by phone from, San Francisco? Is that where you were?
I live in San Carlos, which is south of San Francisco, about half an hour.
Oh, don't give me that. You're in a Sleta. Come on.
No, he's in Haight-Ashbury.
Oh, you really are. Well, tell us your thoughts about this, because I'm the new kid to this. I left town in 70 when you guys graduated high school. Burgess it was, right?
Burgess it was, all three of us.
I came back in 97 when you guys had sort of quit doing your thing. So, Jim, give me some idea who you are, what this is all about. This is a fabulous thing you're doing. It did. Or whatever.
Well, thank you. It kind of grew out of singing together in Jesus Christ Superstar, and we've had some wonderful experiences going forward, playing in clubs in El Paso, traveling on the road, traveling to play in Air Force bases overseas. We were so lucky, and we sang the songs that people wanted to hear. But ask Dennis and Jaime the same question, and you might get a different answer.
Well, we even did songs people didn't want to hear.
That's right.
We were sort of famous for that almost.
We were politically incorrect before it was fashionable.
Before it was correct.
Right.
Well, in the beginning, Jim in Jesus Christ Superstar played the part of Jesus, and I played the part of Judas.
Ooh.
And Jaime was a high priest.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, well, there you
He was
go.
mostly a priest that happened to be high.
That's right. It was the early 70s.
On Facebook, somebody said you had the cutest eyes back in the day.
Who are you pointing at?
You.
Oh, thank you.
Exactly. Because that's what they mentioned
This
on
is
Facebook.
radio.
I know, but Facebook had pictures, so, we put your picture out
Let me
there.
see. Oh, yeah.
By the way,
thank
we,
you. Thank you.
we had almost 9,000 people reached just up until now on your promo on Facebook. So there's got to be a few more than that lurking around there. So be careful, guys. You could be famous again.
Well, we want to remind all of our real Springfire fans to go to the bathroom now so that we don't make fun of you during this broadcast.
It takes or depends, right?
That's right.
Well, explain that, because that was one of your tricks and your traits.
Well, no, it's even people stop us today if we're walking around and they'll say, the one thing they remember about the band was that you couldn't go to the bathroom during our show because we would make fun. I think this has been exaggerated. And
yes.
we certainly stopped it later in our career when we had to go to the bathroom more often. We don't do it at all now.
Because the audience would bring flashlights and flash us.
In fact, Jaime's on his way out.
That's right.
Going
I'll
to
be
the
right back. Put down your flashlight, Dennis.
Well, you also used to use that when you get some hecklers, too.
Oh, we used the flashlight really for everything. We pointed out people in the audience so that we could have some fun. Later in our career, we thought that we wanted to try and poke fun of every group and element just so no one would be really offended by it.
Yeah.
But when Jim and I started, after Jesus Christ Superstar, a club owner came up to us after the production and said to me, if you can get Jesus to get together with Judas to sing at my club, I will, I'll pay you to walk around and serenade people.
How'd that work out?
Well, I said to the club owner that I could get Jesus to come on board, I thought. Maybe we could change the water into wine and save on his liquor costs.
This is true.
And that's the only reason we got the gig, I think, was that that's how it worked. And so we did. We went in and we had a little fun going table to table. You remember all of that, Jim?
I do. I remember it was the branding iron in La Villita.
That's right.
Oh, man, you know what that is? You know what that is now, right, Jim?
I think it's a bank or a parking lot, something.
I think it's the freeway.
It's a freeway.
Part of the freeway. Is it?
Oh yeah, it is.
Okay.
Well, so that sort of like sums up the transition that El Paso has gone through since you guys were doing your thing. El Paso has changed materially since then. But you guys look exactly the same. Oh, God.
Oh,
sure
it's
you
scary.
do.
It's scary.
But also the music scene that you were part of, it was more of a comedy scene, wasn't it?
Well, not in the beginning. In the beginning, when Jim and I were wandering around singing table to table, we were in college. We were just trying to make a little money on the side to buy books. And that evolved because I think partly because they were making a movie in El Paso, and some of the actors in the movie saw us. And
who specifically?
Well, it was the movie The Getaway, and it was with Steve McQueen and Ali MacGraw.
Yeah.
And they heard us and invited us out to California, and they were very, very good to us and very nice, and it kind of led us on a whole different path.
But now, why didn't you take them up on it?
Well, we actually did. We were, as I recall, and Jim, you can come in any time on this, but as I recall, what happened was one night we got a call. It was our night off, and they said that Steve McQueen and Ali MacGraw wanted us to come down and sing because they were bringing someone down to critique us.
Oh.
And so we didn't have any idea. I had to find Jim somewhere. He was, out and about, and found him. Came down and walked into a room, and they brought in Elton John and his band to critique us.
Oh.
They had
Seriously?
done a concert
Seriously,
here.
yeah.
The same night?
Well, the same night that Elton John did a concert, they brought him. This was back, Jim. What year would that be? 72?
It was 72 because
gosh.
the album had just been released, the Madman Across the Water album. And I think El Paso was one of the first places where he did Rocket Man. People came up to me the next day and said what a great song this Rocket Man song was. But on that particular night, the cast of The Getaway went to the concert. It was in the Sun Bowl. They went to the concert, and then Steve McQueen and Ali MacGraw invited them over to the Branding Iron, which was not far from the hotel they were staying in. I don't know what that high rise is now, but it used to be a Holiday Inn.
That's the one that...
That'd be the Doubletree.
The Doubletree, there you go.
Yeah.
Is that a Doubletree? Okay.
Right.
It was kind of thrown together at the last minute. We would like you to come down and sing for these guys. And Dennis was the first one that could contact. And he started calling my folks' house and found and through one after another calling people, he found out I was on a date, and I said, Hollywood is calling. I got to go.
Well, that was pretty easy because that was the only date Jim had for 10 years. And so it was easy to narrow it down and all that. But a fun story when Steve McQueen and Elton John were sitting around this little table, and Jim confessed to Elton John that he had written a song and had stolen a couple of measures from one of Elton John's songs to incorporate into his. And Elton John leaned forward and he said, "Oh, that's okay. I stole that from Muddy Waters."
Oh my gosh!
We all steal from each other. I thought, wow, we're stealing from the best.
All right, everybody, get your flashlights ready because we got to take a break. These guys have to go to the bathroom. I'm sorry. Hey, we do have to take a break. Actually, you can do whatever you like in the meantime. We're going to come back in a minute.
I'm going to put my shirt back on.
Well, keep the socks on. The socks bother the dogs and the children. But okay, let's figure out this trivia here.
We could do a trivia question.
We just do that. Okay,
well, the first trivia question we've got is, where did the original Springfire members meet and get together?
Don't answer. We know you know this.
Don't know.
Oh, you used to know this. Okay.
Used to.
Yeah, used to, yes.
Okay.
So, where did the original Springfire members meet and get together?
And you want to put out the second question just to do it?
Yeah, well, what type of music did the group initially perform? Which kind of, we didn't really discuss that
Well,
too
we
much,
might find out that the audience had a different opinion than what you did. So.
But I think the audience will pretty much know because there's a lot of people.
And a note to Jim on the phone here. We're going to put you on hold. You'll hear the whole thing, but you cannot answer the questions,
That's
okay?
Right. But you can reach us
I promise.
Okay, fair enough.
But you can call 915-544-5876 or 915-544-KTSM.
Pepe's New Mexican Restaurant and Cantina serves the old Griggs Mexican food recipes in a new location at 6761 Donovan Drive. Enjoy great New Mexican food with cold beer and the one and only margarita from the cantina. The managers and cooks from the original Griggs restaurant serve tacos, combination plates, and sopapillas. Get the best Mexican food in the valley at Pepe's New Mexican Restaurant and Cantina, 6761 Donovan, near Loop 375. Call 877-2152.
Almost 2 centuries ago, Lieutenant W.H. Emery, guided by the legendary Kit Carson, led his army through the Black Range Mountains. Emery Pass is named for him. And just over a century ago, this was the summer lands of the Chiricahua Warm Springs Apache. Magnificent scenery highlights the curvy drive through the Black Range and over the 8,200-foot Emery Pass. Now, we're not an army, and we're not a tribe in the traditional sense of the word. We're just a group of hogs, riding our iron horses this Sunday to a place magazines have written up as one of the greatest climbs in the country. Along the way, our trip will include great views of the Hurley Open Pit Mine and the Kneeling Nun Rock Formation. But the best view of all will be that of you and your friends riding across vistas that have been millions of years in the making. Your adventure can be as much a part of history as Kit Carson or Geronimo. Saddle up at Barnett Harley-Davidson. Take a quick look at BarnettHarley.com, because your life, just like your new Harley, should always be a great ride.
Go to ephistory.com for DVDs about El Paso history and for podcasts of our weekly radio show and for a list of area stores that carry our DVDs, like El Paso's Waco Tanks, Mexican Revolution sites in El Paso, and Legends of El Paso's Mountains. 18 titles in all, plus links to dozens of TV stories about El Paso area history. Go to ephistory.com for a journey into El Paso's amazing history. ephistory.com.
Now, more of the El Paso History Show, brought to you by ephistory.com for DVDs about El Paso history. Pepe's New Mexican Restaurant, 6761 Donovan Drive. Sargent Home and Business Inventories, and by Monterey Asset Management for your real estate investments. Here again, Melissa Sargent and Jackson Polk.
Oh, we got a house full of mirth. M-I-R-T-H. Mirth. We got mirth going on here. But we have announcements about history to do as well. So I'm going to let you know something interesting coming on here. Well, I've spent 20 years doing television documentaries in El Paso. We're running them starting a couple of weeks ago. We got them running on KRWG Channel 22. And tomorrow night, August 27th, 10:30 p.m., and continuing for a total of 10 weeks, we're going to run the El Paso Gold Heritage DVD series title known as McGoffin Home Update 2008. And what's weird, you remember this? Because you're in this one, too. This is the people who want to see a free broadcast of our El Paso Gold TV documentaries. You can do so. Check it out. Make yourself a Post-it note. 10:30 on KRWG every Sunday night. up until the end of October, actually, a little into November, perhaps.
That was a great video.
Well, this is fun because, I mean, this one is unusual because the McGoffin home is unusual. That was a homestead built in 1875 by one of the first few mayors of El Paso. He built it up into a big La Hacienda kind of thing. And then his daughter took it over when the parents passed away in 1930. She totally renovated the place. Well, guess what the state of Texas did in about 2005? They took it back to where Daddy and Mommy lived there. So the entire thing was renovated again. So we actually have the only real record of what it looked like for 50 years or 60 years. Mm-hmm. And as it is now, you can go take a look at it tomorrow night on KRWG Channel 22 at 10:30.
Okay. Also, now, history lessons. We've got Daughters of the Republic of Texas. The Rio Grande chapter will meet Friday, September at La Tierra Restaurant on Montana. And the program's at 11 a.m., and they're going to be talking Mount Cristo Rey with a friend of ours who's a guest on here very often, Ruben Escadone. And visitors interested in Texas history are welcome. Call 584-3858 to make a reservation. And then the Harvey Girls of El Paso will meet Monday, September 11th at the Union Passenger Station from 2 to 4 p.m. On 700 West San Francisco Street. Their program will be the timeline of Fred Harvey Legacy, presented by Presta Coop. And visitors are welcome. Call 591-2326 for more information.
Just to let you know, the Celebration of the Mountains new little booklet is out. This is fabulous. We got Jim Tolbert coming in here next Saturday to explain all this to us. But he dropped off some booklets early. And the Celebration of the Mountains was established in 1994 by UTEP. This is neat stuff. Check that out, Rick Kern. See that picture there? Yeah. That's North Mount Franklin in its glory with the poppy. So more on that.
I think we need to have the Julie Andrews soundtrack for that one.
Oh, we should. And they're coming over the mountains. Yeah. All right, now we got Springfire in here. We asked Springfire questions. What the heck was that question?
No, don't forget. We have to thank Ray Baca.
Oh, 1, 2, 3, thank Ray Baca. Thank you, Ray Baca. He's a sponsor that doesn't want a commercial.
Yes.
It's really weird. But we thank you for being weird.
He has Monterey Asset Management, a wonderful company. So
that is him. All right, you ready for a question? You ready for a contestant?
Well, let's tell them what the questions are. Where did the original Springfire members meet and get together? Or what type of music did that group initially perform?
Pam is on the phone. Good morning, Pam. How do you fit into all this?
Pam?
Well, I first met Springfire while we were doing Jesus Christ Superstar.
Ooh.
Yes.
And I believe that's where they first met. Then I talked them into going to my dad's restaurant and auditioning to be the strolling musicians.
Ooh. We had a different answer. Should we take this answer?
That's the true answer. Okay. I didn't realize we were going to have somebody who actually knew what happened.
Oh, my God.
Because if this is going to continue, we're going to have to watch what we say.
You thought all the witnesses were gone, didn't you?
Oh, my gosh. This is...
Pam. That's right. Pam's father, Neil Franklin, owned the Branding Iron Steakhouse in downtown El Paso.
Pam, isn't that now a piece of the freeway? Am I right on that?
No. It's a parking lot.
Oh, that's the parking lot. Okay.
Parking lot, yes.
Next to the freeway. Got it.
We should have a reunion.
Yeah.
The other answer, should we give her the other answer that we were going to take?
Well, initially it was folk music. Is that what you played in the restaurant?
Yeah, we were a folk duo and wandering from table to table, basically irritating people.
They would tip them to go away, is what would happen.
That's right. We would stand. Jim and I found a way to make this all work at the Branding Iron, and that was there would be groups of 3 tables, and we would stand there and sing until someone reach for their wallet to pay us to go away. But instead of going away, we would just shift to the other people, and they'd go for their wallets right away.
You were the early panhandlers of El Paso,
we
right?
Had a little sign.
These are the pros.
It turned out to be a good thing.
So you kind of said it like the mariachis, too. It's like
we found a way to make a little money.
Yes.
Good for you. All right, Pam, we're going to give that one to you. We had another answer, which we'll hold on and see if Karen comes on and says what we thought was where they first met. See, where you first met, I think, was the question.
Yes, that was one of the questions.
So we'll see about that. You got that right, Pam. Now, you have a choice of stuff.
All right.
The $20 gift certificate to Pepe's or a DVD.
Well, I've never been to Pepe's.
Now you need to go.
Oh, you need to go.
And what it is a certificate for $20. You got to, if it's gratuity extra, and if you want a beer, that's extra. By the way, $20 worth of food out there. Oh, by the way, we have to get these guys to pick a special today.
Yes, we do. The Oñate special.
The Oñates. All right, Pam, you got yourself a certificate. Anything else on your mind this morning?
Nope, that's about it. But it was sure a lot of fun when Elton John Steve McQueen, Allie McGraw, and the whole cast and crew came in, and Springfire stood on the waitress station and played for them.
Oh, that must have been fun. Any pictures of that?
No, we didn't.
Any evidence?
There are no pictures.
They got rid of all the evidence.
Man.
All right, Pam, I'm going to put you on hold here. Shelley will come on and tell you how to pick up that certificate, all right?
You know, it might be fun
right,
is
thank
if
you.
we, if we can get Jim in from California, and when you eat at Pepe's, Jim and I will sing at your table until you're irritated.
Okay,
There you go.
I just put Jim on for a comment. Jimmy, you're still there?
Pepe's would be up for that.
I think Jim did the flashlight thing. We'll get back to Jim in a minute. We do have another question, another caller. You ready for this? Karen's on the radio. Karen, we have another question, or should we make her answer that first one?
We have the first one. Where did the original Springfires member meet and get together, Karen?
Burgess High School.
Yes! That's what we were looking for.
All right, Karen.
See, we wanted to go back to your root. Now, Karen, were you in that class or what?
No, but my mom's best friend is Jaime Medford, so I know the whole history of Springfire.
Hi, Karen. Good morning.
A ringer.
Good morning.
Hey, tell us some stuff that these guys won't tell us.
Bye, Karen. Engineer, push the button.
That's right. She will now be joining Pam for dinner at Pepe's.
That's right.
Actually, for this hour, what we have left for you to pick from are DVD. The Women's Club. I'm going to push the Women's Club.
The Women's Club's a really good DVD.
Would you like a Women's Club DVD or McGoffin Home, which plays tomorrow night on KRWG?
Yeah, it's a Smelter, Tom Lee's El Paso, Gunfights of the Old
Mount
West.
Cristo Rey is over here.
Oh, that's a good one, yes.
Pick one you like. We got it for you here.
I don't know. What do you think is the best one to pick?
Well, right now, you
McGoffin Home is a really good one. Mount Cristo Rey.
do McGoffin Home.
McGoffin Home is a really good one.
And you can watch
Okay,
it.
then I'll do the McGoffin Home.
All right,
Okay.
hold on, please, Shelley. We'll tell you how to come pick that up, all right?
Okay, thank you.
Thanks
Thank
a lot.
you for
take her
listening.
in. Hey, somehow we're surviving Springfire so far this morning. I'm glad to hear that. Rick, thank you for bringing him in here. But also, this was Melissa Sargent's idea. Now, I don't know what you did to her to get her to create this radio show, but thank you for doing that.
I'll have to tell you, this is trivia. And I was telling Dennis about it, and Jaime about this when we were meeting, was the first time we ever saw them perform was at the Shelmont Center over on Montana. And we had brought some Canadians. They were customers. My husband was working for MEPCO Central Lab. We just moved to El Paso. And we had a bunch of Canadians who drank a lot of liquor and got very drunk and were supposed to be paying the bill. Well, we left, and they all left, and we were in our car, and also there was somebody knocking on the window going, are you going to pay the bill?
Oh, yeah.
And my husband were like going, huh?
It was Dennis, right?
I was thinking
It was
Dennis.
me. It was me. In fact, this is the first time I've seen Melissa sober.
Wait a minute.
This is it. We're right here
Wait
in
a
this
minute.
room. I didn't even recognize her.
No.
Sitting up.
What makes you think she's sober?
I sobered up real quick.
What's in that coffee cup, Melissa?
You're assuming a lot here, aren't you?
And I'll tell you, that was a big bill because we had about 20 people.
Oh, my God.
Oh, my. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4.
They
So,
stuck you with
You have to remortgage your house for that?
yeah, I'm dang
Count
near,
the change
you
in
know.
the couch, man. Look
Yeah,
out. All right, we're going to take a
we
break.
never got paid for that bill.
You never did?
Never did. Well, that's sales. What can I say? That's
All right,
what
we're going to
happens.
come back with another Springfire song. Brace yourself. But we take a break in the meantime. You can call us if you need to, or
That's right.
Facebook is open.
Yeah, we're going to go to Facebook, and I'm going to be posting a picture in a little while on the boys.
And what we do on Facebook is the El Paso History Radio Show.
That's right.
And boy, howdy, we got them lit up already. Okay, should we take a break?
Yes, we
544?
5876 or 915-544 KTSM.
Let me ask you a question. How long has it been since you've updated your home or business list of assets or property inventory? In the case of a loss by fire, theft, or natural disaster, the insurance company and police will ask for detailed descriptions and often require pictures as proof of ownership. If you can't remember, you can't recover. Contact Sargent Home and Business Inventory Services. Our process provides detailed documentation of what you own. There is no price tag on peace of mind. Call 915-581-7099.
Now, more of the El Paso History Show, brought to you by ephistory.com for DVDs about El Paso history. Pepe's New Mexican Restaurant, 6761 Donovan Drive. Sargent Home and Business Inventories, and by Monterey Asset Management for your real estate investments. Here again, Melissa Sargent and Jackson Polk.
All right, we got this rock and roll radio thing going on in here, and Sergio, our main man, is there standing by with more music for these guys. We're going to tell you a couple announcements real quick. Big lecture today at the El Paso Museum of Archaeology. How big was Pakime? How do you spell Pakime? Pakime. These guys don't know what Pakime is, or do you? You need to go to this lecture at 2 o'clock today so you can learn about Pakime at the El Paso Museum of Archaeology. And Pakime will impress us all who see it, from the Spanish explorers who found it first to current visitors. Well known amongst archaeology people, and many things remain to be investigated. Originally was estimated to be about 2,300 rooms, making it the largest known prehistoric pueblo in the area, and it's in northern Chihuahua. So there's something to think about. Michael Whalen's going to be doing his lecture out there. That's today at 2 o'clock, 755-4332 for information.
The city of El Paso the City of El Paso Museum of History invites the public to the latest Wall of Giants exhibition, The First Steps, a commemoration of St. Patrick Cathedral and Cathedral High School. This exhibit opened last weekend at the El Paso Museum of History, and it's the 8th Wall of Giants installation, and it recognizes the contribution that both institutions have made to the El Paso community. St. Patrick Cathedral and Cathedral High School have been an essential part of lives of many El Pasos since its founding. And this free exhibition will be on display through February 2018. So get out there and see. It's a really nice exhibition.
Okay, we ready for a little more Springfire?
Yes.
Sergio, hit it.
Aki.
Ortiz, kill. I was cruising down Loma Land one dark and windy night. My 57 Chevy man was looking out of sight. I pulled on into docks to get a bite to eat, when suddenly I heard a voice. Echo down the street. Yippee-yi-hey! It was the low rider in the sky. It was a real low rider. His car was black and shiny. The dash was made of shag. He pulled up right beside me and shouted, "Want to drive?" I looked into his fiery eyes. It was an evil stare. He used Benzoyl in his car and also on his hair.
Oh my, I think we better stop that song because I know where it goes. I have heard this song before and I know where they end up. And it's not just a lowrider in the sky, folks. It's but now who made that one up?
Well, actually, Dennis and I and another gentleman wrote that one back in the early 80s.
A Pennzoil in his hair.
Well, you know.
It's too nice, man.
I told you we were not too politically correct.
Yes.
We're going to bring Jim back in here. Jim, you can talk if you wish to. Otherwise, you're going to be into court with these people in a few days.
A silent contributor. That's good.
Yes, indeed.
That was always pretty much a requested one.
It was one of our more popular because it's a silly song. Let's face it, and we're picking on a segment of the city, and everybody had a good sense of humor about it.
And they loved it. Yeah,
they loved it.
I want to set the stage. I want Rick to sort of explain in a brief summary, if you don't mind, what was going on in the music scene in El Paso, because you guys were very different. Mm-hmm. Well, I left town in 70, like I mentioned, but I went to high school up to 69. So I had some idea of what went on. And so what was going on in my mind, you had the Bobby Fuller, Biggie come and go. Then you had bands like the Henchmen and the Chains and whatever else. And then these guys showed up. What was going on back then, Rick?
You know, part of what's going on at that time is that you had a lot of bands playing in a lot of different clubs in El Paso, and they were mainly top 40 dance bands. I had a band called The Basic Sound right after Jim Reese came back after Bobby passed in L.A. Jim Reese, the lead guitar player, came back and joined my group. We were playing at the Knights Club at the Roadway Inn. That was Jerry Wolf's Roadway Inn, and the Jet Set Club. And we were bringing people in and out of our band, like Jeff Lynne and some people, and we would back them up and do shows. But nothing like this. This was a comedy show, and that's what made these guys so iconic and unique to the El Paso music history. The other bands that were doing things, I mean, we had the KK Club down on Trowbridge, which had Bobby and the Premiers, one of the better Hispanic bands. A lot of good Hispanic bands those days were playing. clubs out near Lakeside on Montana, Alameda Street.
It's active.
Really, really neat, groups. And at the same time, we had the lobby, Long John Hunter over in Juarez.
Oh my! Yes.
And then we had at the La Fiesta, we had Nat King Cole, Frank Sinatra, Earl Grant. These are groups that my parents used to go and see. And then my wife and I went and saw a group called Gwyn and Greg there, and we had them at the Knights Club also playing there with Bud Nichols, the manager. A lot of things. On the west side, we had the Frijole, and groups like Moon Pie Dance Band, and we had, Gorilla, and we had Rick Nelson and the Stone Canyon Band that came and played there, the big names. The Yellow Submarine on Mesa Street. That was a club that had a lot of the local rock bands playing there. Really great stuff. Joe Renteria.
Oh, yes.
Joe Renteria at the Camino Real in Juarez. He also played the Knights Club with us. And the night my wife and I got married in 1972, we went over to the Camino Real. That was where we stayed the first night. Somebody bought us the bridal suite there, and it was really cool. Walked in the Madrigal Club, and there's Joe Renteria doing his shtick.
I think he's still around, but he's in L.A.
He's in L.A. doing TV and stuff.
Yeah,
And but yeah, we had Karen Taylor Good and the Medicine Band, with Hugh Prestwood and those guys out at the Jet Set. They were playing there a long time. And then, of course, Patty Tiscareño of PT and the Cruisers was part of that band for a while. Out on the east side, again, we had some really neat stuff going on. The Cotton Patch, you had the band Southwest, Congress Truth. These were groups that were a part of the Charlie Teetsworth regime, a great writer and producer.
And you are the encyclopedia of El Paso music. I'm sitting right here with this Springfire crowd here. Did he get it right, guys?
Absolutely.
Oh, sure.
I'm impressed. My God.
There'll be a test on this later, right?
You can call me later, anybody out there who wants to hear the rest of this, because this is about Springfire today, not about all these groups.
I want to set the scene.
Well, Jackson.
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead, Jim.
I was going to say that there was a thriving folk scene as well.
Yeah. Exactly.
There were, and there was a place for that to happen. There were
the Cellar.
There were the Cellar. There was in the First Methodist Church. There was a coffee house called the Plush Bathtub.
Oh boy!
Yeah.
And St. Pius had one. And if I worked it right, I could play the Cellar, the Plush Bathtub, and make it to St. Pius. They had they called it the 4-poster, and I could do them all in one night.
Oh my!
If the rest of the traffic would get out of the way.
Well, there was another one, Mama Trees.
Mama Trees was a club over. It's currently the where it was a Montwood Shopping Center actually, where Mama Trees was. And these guys, I recorded these guys. They didn't even know this, but I came across a cassette the other day in 1975. My wife and I had just come off the road for a couple of days for a break, and we went in to see these guys. That's the first time I'd seen them in 75 at Mama Trees, and I've got a recording of them doing the Nights in White Satin by the Moody Blues.
How much is the masterwork?
Really? Oh my goodness!
Hey, well, I also want to know you guys played in your own club for a while, right?
That's correct.
When was that?
Actually, we got off the road in 1981. We had just finished a European tour, as Dennis mentioned earlier. We played for a lot of the military clubs over in England and Germany and Holland, and we've been on the road for about 7 years by that time, and we were getting a little weary of the road, I must say. So by that time, we came back to El Paso in 1981, and we heard about this little place in Chalmont that was up for sale.
So you did it?
We did it. It was a pizza parlor, and we happened to know the owner. We went in and made the deal, and that's when we opened Springfire.
And that's where you saw them.
Yeah, that's where I first saw them, was there.
We were there for about 6 years. We were there from 81 to about 1987 in Chalmont.
We stirred up some people on the phone out there, and Jim, I'm going to have to put you on hold. Don't go away. You'll hear us. But to take the other calls, here we go, all right? Don't go too far, all right?
I'm here.
All right, very good. All right, on the phone right now, we got, let's see who has called in what order. Rick. We've got Rick on the radio. Good morning.
Good morning. How are y'all today?
Don't ask.
Fine.
Great.
We're good. What's up?
I just wanted to call up. My name is Rick Hassler. I do a lot of writing for the folks at El Paso Inc.
I've heard of you.
Me too.
Hello, Rick.
I just wanted to say hi to Rick Kern because I've interviewed him for a few stories.
How you doing, buddy?
Haven't talked to him in a while. And I wanted to say hi to the Springfire guys, and if they remember me interviewing them 2 or 3 years ago.
Yeah, we do remember you, Rick.
Sure. Absolutely. Great story.
In 2014, I think that's
I have the
still
story right
online,
here.
and it's on El Paso Inc. archives. Well, thanks.
We had a good chat at their house there in the Upper Valley, and boy, the stories they told me, particularly the stuff they told me off the record.
Oh, what? Give us a good one.
And we're going to keep it off the record, aren't we?
That's wise.
We meant to, but they were young and they were on the road, and I said, "Come on, tell me the truth." Off the record, sure. So anyway, we had a good time, and I haven't talked to any of them since then or bumped into them, but I just wanted to say hi.
Well, that sure was a great article in El Paso Inc. Boy, that really helped us to fill up the club and remind people of who we were.
Well, you came back for a special event, right?
We were doing a benefit for the Child Crisis Center back in 2014, and that's when we met Rick, and they did a bunch of publicity for that particular event. Had a great time, and it was a pleasure meeting Rick. And he did. He wrote some wonderful stuff.
Hey, Rick, you think we can talk him into doing another set someday soon, somewhere in El Paso? What do you think, huh? Probably not. They're looking at me like
I had
daggers.
somebody last night ask me about that, so I need to talk to you about that after.
Rick, thanks for calling, dude.
Well,
Appreciate
we can
it.
be boss.
Take her easy.
I know you can.
All right, we have other people on the phone, and this one's named Andy. Andy, got you on the radio. What is up?
Hey, thanks for taking my call.
Sure.
I was before I get to my Springfire question, you mentioned Basic Sound a minute ago. Is that the same one that Mark Cianfrani played for?
Yeah, it sure is, man. He was one of our guitar players that joined the group about a year and a half after we started. The
he was
original.
married to my sister.
Oh, great. Well, he passed away about a year and a half or two ago. We were sure missing him. He was a great guy. The original members of that group was Gail Hageman, myself, Dick Greco, and Jim Reese, and then we added Joe Alvarez, the trumpet player, and then Mark came in, and we've had 2 or 3 others that joined the group as well.
No, I remember that well from the days he was married to my sister. But my Springfire question.
Yeah, what's the dirt you got on these people?
Well, there was a rumor a long time ago, and I was a very early fan of Springfire. I used to go see it at Branding Iron and also at Steak and Ale when they played there.
Well, thank you.
And I just have a question. Has anybody ever been shot at a Springfire show?
Andy. What a leading question.
Let's not give anybody ideas.
We need to get that lawyer back on the phone.
No, and the truth is that when we worked at
Steak and Ale,
we were right in the middle of a show and heard a gunshot go off, and it was packed in this club, and a guy fell down right in front of us, and he was shot. And we didn't...
wasn't part of the show.
It wasn't part of the show. Oh. But we didn't know what was going on. We were afraid if we stopped the show, people would panic. We weren't even sure, really, if anybody actually had been shot. It could have been a cork going off. But we kept doing the show.
I think Andy knows more than he's saying.
Guys bleeding to death
Andy,
on the floor.
Were you there that night, Andy? I just have to ask, were you in the audience that evening, or you just heard about it?
No, I wasn't, but I actually heard the story before me. I'm Dennis's friend and neighbor also.
Well, luckily, the gentleman who was shot was fine. He recovered perfectly, but it was
just a little shooting in the audience.
There was a gun in the lady's purse, and the purse fell off the bar and hit the floor, and that's what caused the gun to go off.
Oh, it wasn't a violent act. It was just an accident.
Oh,
that story's not as good as I thought it was going to be. Anyway,
I'm sorry, but
Andy. Thanks for bringing that up, dude.
But the show went on.
The show went on, and we sang songs like
"I Fought the Law."
That's right.
The poor guy's lying on the floor bleeding.
Right. The nice thing about it was that
and it was before I shot the sheriff.
I shot the sheriff. We should have.
I just want to know, did you use the flashlight on him?
Well, you almost have to.
Hey, you get up.
But what was nice, when they were taking him out, the fire department finally got there and put him on a stretcher and was taking him out and left, and everybody clapped, like they do a football player leaving the field of battle. Well, anyway, then the doors banging again, and he came back in, and he leaned up and he said, "Enjoyed the show," and then went out. And
Andy,
everybody
thanks for the call, dude.
Was,
appreciate it. All right, let's go to Jim out there for. You have a reaction to this? Were you there for the shooting, Jim?
I was there. And I believe. Well, you've heard the story. To me, it's not as good as 5 dead in 4 seconds.
Oh, that's true.
Well,
thank you very much. Good for you. All right, go back on hold for a minute. We got to take another call. This is from John. John, got you on the radio. What's up?
Springfire brought back so many memories. I just moved down here from Colorado after living up there 5 years, and heard them when I first went out to Shelmont. Those guys were crazy, Jaime, Dennis, and I mean, I've got the original. I was abused at Springfire's buttons.
Oh,
Because I got the flashlight. I got the flashlight. I mean, we followed these guys everywhere, from Shelmont to Doc's Barbecue in Lomaland. And
this is, by the way, I'm going to interrupt because this is the guy we thought was stalking us.
I think so, yeah.
We were stalking.
Guess where they're going for lunch? You'll find out. Well, John, thanks a lot.
Every week, because I came home to get married, and we went to Springfires either Friday or Saturday, or sometimes Friday and Saturday. I got married. We had our wedding rehearsal dinner at Springfires. We must have bought 50, 60 pizzas.
Awesome.
Luckily, we paid because, man, I didn't want Jaime to come after me.
I think he knows where you live, so look out.
I'll come after you, my lowrider.
We got to run, but thank you for calling. We got to take a break here, otherwise we can't do this anymore.
I know.
We'll get to you. Look on Facebook. Back in just a moment.
Almost 2 centuries ago, Lieutenant W.H. Emery, guided by the legendary Kit Carson, led his army through the Black Range Mountains. Emery Pass is named for him. And just over a century ago, this was the summer lands of the Chiricahua Warm Springs Apache. Magnificent scenery highlights the curvy drive through the Black Range and over the 8,200-foot Emery Pass. Now, we're not an army, and we're not a tribe in the traditional sense of the word. We're just a group of hogs, riding our iron horses this Sunday to a place magazines have written up as one of the greatest climbs in the country. Along the way, our trip will include great views of the Hurley Open Pit Mine and the Kneeling Nun Rock Formation. But the best view of all will be that of you and your friends riding across vistas that have been millions of years in the making. Your adventure can be as much a part of history as Kit Carson or Geronimo. Saddle up at Barnett Harley-Davidson. Take a quick look at BarnettHarley.com, because your life, just like your new Harley, should always be a great ride.
Pepe's New Mexican Restaurant and Cantina serves the old Griggs Mexican food recipes in a new location at 6761 Doniphan Drive. Enjoy great New Mexican food with cold beer and the one and only margarita from the cantina. The managers and cooks from the original Griggs restaurant serve tacos, combination plates, and sopapillas. Get the best Mexican food in the valley at Pepe's New Mexican Restaurant and Cantina, 6761 Doniphan, near Loop 375. Call 877-2152.
Now, more of the El Paso History Show, brought to you by EPHistory.com for DVDs about El Paso history. Pepe's New Mexican Restaurant, 6761 Doniphan Drive. Sargent Home and Business Inventories, and by Monterey Asset Management for your real estate investments. Here again, Melissa Sargent and Jackson Polk.
On the road when you're sitting right beside me, and I'm drunk out of my mind merely by the fact that you are here. And I have not been known as the saint of San Joaquin, and I just as soon right now pull on over to the side of the road and show you what I need.
Keep the music up. Hey, Jim, does that sound familiar?
Yes, it does.
Who might that be singing there, Jim? That would be you?
My voice.
Oh, your cell's breaking up. Go to another corner of your room.
Don't move.
Hey, Jim, can you still sing that high?
Your phone's coming and going, Jim. Move somewhere in your house or whatever. What are you doing? It's always technical, you know. It's
always technical.
Always.
AT&T.
All right, music out, if you would. We got about a minute before this break. I want to thank the people in the control room for doing what they're doing this morning. It's a little unusual. We had all kinds of interesting things going on as we started. And thank you, Sergio Valenzuela. 1, 2, 3. Sergio Valenzuela! And the woman of the house is Shelley Sutherland. Lovely Shelley. So thank you all for surviving in there, because we're putting you through some
crazy day today.
Jim, can you talk to us?
Yes.
There he is. Don't move.
We got about 30 seconds. Tell us what your thoughts are real quick on this.
Well, I had two great careers with Dennis Jaime. First with Dennis, and then with Dennis and Jaime. And I have to tell you that Jaime's role did not just start when he started on stage. He was there from the very beginning, helping us to pick the songs. He ran the sound system. We traveled as a trio long before we actually got on stage, and the whole trajectory of Springfire included Jaime. So I want to thank him, for being there and, making sure that he went with us when we went to California. It was always the three of us.
Thank you, Jim. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Thanks for doing that, sir. We're going to have to take off for this hour. Jim Stevens on the phone here. Thank you very much for what you do. Springfire will be back after the break. If we survive the break here, we'll see. Right after the news.
See you
Thanks
later.
for joining us.
Thanks for listening to the El Paso History Show. There's another hour to go, so please stay tuned. This hour is brought to you by Pepe's New Mexican Restaurant, home of the one and only margarita. EPHistory.com for DVDs about El Paso history. Sargent Home and Business Inventories. And by Monterey Asset Management for your real estate investments. We'll be right back after the news, right here on News Radio 690 KTSM El Paso.
We'd like to thank everybody at the El Paso History Radio show that airs every Saturday morning from 10 till 12 a.m. on 690 a.m. and live streaming on Facebook. We really appreciate the efforts of Barbara Gibbon-Bainey, who brings this to you on a live stream. I'd also like to thank the good guys over at KINT 98, Norbert and Eddie, KINT98.com for airing our show every Thursday night at 9 p.m. These guys do this out of the goodness of their hearts. We really appreciate that. This completes the first hour of the Springfire show that was done by the El Paso History Radio show. We're going to be doing a second show, the second hour, in our next episode. So we appreciate you listening in to Talkin' Rock Radio, and we'll see you at the next show, okay? Thank you. Take care. Have a great one.